something happened that no one expected. A moment between Rose and Bruno Mars that fans weren't supposed to see suddenly surfaced. And what's inside this short clip is now sending shockwaves across US fandoms. Stay right here, because once you understand why this moment was kept quiet, you'll see both Rose and Bruno Mars in a completely different way. Rose's name was already echoing through the room long before anyone realized what was about to unfold. And that's exactly why this moment hit harder than anyone expected. Because when Rose Blackpink showed up tonight, no one imagined her path would cross so sharply with Bruno Mars in a way that felt both surprising and strangely inevitable. Like two creative worlds quietly orbiting each other until finally colliding in a single moment that US fans had been waiting far too long to understand. And the craziest part is that the moment itself wasn't loud or staged or designed for attention. It was the kind of moment that happens behind layers of schedules and secrecy, a moment that shouldn't have surfaced so cleanly. Yet tonight, it finally did. From the very first second, you can feel the tension in the air. Not bad tension, but the kind that makes everyone lean in without even realizing it. Because Rose Blackpink wasn't just there as a global superstar. She walked in with that familiar calm confidence. The kind that tells you she knows her influence but never flaunts it. She moved with intention, with purpose. Like she was already aware that something rare was about to happen. Meanwhile, Bruno Mars, the man whose musical instincts are sharper than most people's entire teams, had that effortless charisma he always carries, relaxed, cool, and fully present. The two of them in one room was already a headline waiting to write itself. But what actually happened had more weight than a simple celebrity interaction. They weren't performing. They weren't filming. They weren't even posing. They were just existing in the same creative space, and sometimes that's where the most powerful moments happen. The room wasn't even bright, just warm light, soft amber glow. The kind that makes everything feel more honest. People were talking, cameras were off, and the vibe was more like a private industry mixer than a public event. But then something shifted. A small exchange, almost too natural, caught the attention of the few who were close enough to witness it, Rose leaning slightly closer as Bruno spoke. Bruno stopping mid-sentence with that signature smile like he'd just recognized a spark of mutual understanding, and a brief pause where both of them simply nodded, as if sharing a creative idea without needing words. That's the moment fans weren't supposed to see. The micro-interaction where two high-level artists connect not because of cameras or contracts, but because they recognize something in each other. And for US fans, the clip surfacing tonight feels like a window into the real mechanics of global stardom, the kind that rarely makes it online. Because behind the polished performances and stadium lights, real influence is built through moments like this, small, unplanned intersections where ideas trade energy. The setup to all this goes back weeks, if not months. Rose has been moving through the industry with a level of strategic precision that only top-performing artists understand. Every appearance, every collaboration, every public moment she picks is part of a larger narrative, one where she positions herself as not just a singer but an international creative force. And Bruno Mars, with his ability to blend nostalgia, groove, and timeless performance, operates with the same mindset. Both of them understand the power of brand narrative, the psychology of timing, and the value of choosing the right moment to be visible. That's why tonight matters. Because this wasn't a random encounter. It was a collision of two global brands functioning with entrepreneurial instincts. Rose knows her voice, her image, and her influence are at a point where every small move affects her global trajectory. Bruno Mars knows his legacy is built on consistency and surprise, always delivering something fans didn't realize they needed. When these two kinds of energies line up, it creates a ripple effect. Fans feel it even if they can't explain why. And the trigger moment, the exact seconds that leaked, perfectly captured the chemistry of mutual respect. Rose laughing softly at something Bruno Mars said. Bruno gesturing animatedly like he was reacting to an idea she threw at him, both of them leaning in just slightly closer than you'd expect from casual industry acquaintances. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't staged, it wasn't exaggerated. It was real, and authenticity is the most powerful currency in modern entertainment. As the clip continues, the rising tension builds because you can tell those around them noticed it too. People nearby paused. Someone lowered their drink mid-sip. Even Bruno's own team looked like they didn't expect the conversation to catch momentum so quickly. It wasn't loud enough to interrupt the room, but it was strong enough to change the atmosphere. Connections like this don't happen unless both sides bring something significant to the table, and tonight they clearly did. In the middle of the clip, there's one tiny moment that feels almost like a teaser designed to spark curiosity. Rose tilts her head slightly. Bruno Mars raises his eyebrows as if impressed, and they both let out a small, synchronized laugh that feels too perfect to be accidental. It's the kind of micro-expression that tells fans, something just clicked here. And that's where the curiosity spike hits, because viewers can feel there's a story behind the story. Something unspoken that makes the moment even more intriguing. From there, the story naturally expands beyond the interaction itself. What you're watching isn't just two artists talking. It's a demonstration of how powerful personal brands operate on a global stage. Rose and Bruno Mars both understand timing, visibility, and the psychology of presence. They know when to speak, when to stay quiet, and when to let the moment speak for itself. That's why this clip works so well. It's subtle, not flashy. It's intimate, not staged. It's unexpected, not planned. And in a world where everything feels choreographed, authenticity becomes the most valuable thing an artist can offer. As the climax of the moment unfolds, Rose gives Bruno Mars a look that's warm, real, and grateful, the kind of expression that says she genuinely appreciated the exchange. Bruno Mars leans back slightly with a grin that fans know all too well. The one that means he just discovered something interesting, maybe inspiring. For a split second, it feels like they're not megastars, but two passionate creatives rediscovering why they love what they do. By the time the clip ends, it's clear why fans are talking. It's not because something dramatic happened. It's because something human happened. Something rare, something pure. Something that reminds people that at the highest level of entertainment, authenticity still exists. And that's exactly why this tiny interaction is exploding everywhere right now. Because moments like this don't get manufactured. They don't get scripted. They just happen, once, naturally, and never again in the same way. And for fans who've watched Rose, Blackpink, and Bruno Mars for years, this single, unscripted second feels more real than a dozen staged performances. It's the kind of moment people replay, overthink, and can't stop talking about. And now here you are, watching the moment unfold in real time. Understanding the layers behind it, the strategy, the psychology, the creative synergy, the global impact. This wasn't just a surprising moment. It was a reminder of how influential these two artists really are, and how much power there is in quiet authenticity. If you've been hooked by this moment the way millions already have, stay close. There's so much more happening behind the scenes. And I'd love for you to be here when the next reveal drops. Feel free to subscribe, share this journey, or turn on notifications so you won't miss the next moment that changes the story. The best parts often happen when nobody's expecting them, and you deserve to be here for all of it.